Alright guys, how's it going? Mask here again, and today I'm looking at level 40 Bakura. Now, I know a lot of you, myself included, have a bunch of handicaps when it comes towards farming level 40 Bakura, and I gotta make a big shout out here, Ruroshin on YouTube has put out a beautiful farming deck for us people without union attack, and it's really opened up a lot of options. Honestly, I know Ruroshin puts out some fantastic content, and I know he doesn't get nearly enough credit, because he has to be the inspiration for half of the farming decks that go around on the internet. Now, this right here is my best attempt to copy the deck that he made to use. Now, there is one flaw that I have to point out that Ruroshin actually got extremely lucky with when he was showcasing using this deck to get the closest you can to 6,000 points, farming level 40 Bakura without union attack. It's actually the endgame condition of this deck. If we take a look at the endgame here, it is Magician of Black Chaos, Piranha Army, Roku, Gravity Axe Grawl, Storm, Ritual Foregone, Secret Pass to the Treasures, and Divine Wrath. That's 8 cards. An endgame condition using 8 cards is simply not possible. It's not reliable. If you draw into all 8 of those cards, even in the first 16, if all 8 of those cards are drawn in the first 16 cards of your deck, which is going to happen minimum, I'd say that would happen at least 50% of the time, if not more, then this deck's not going to work, because you're going to have to discard. You can't hold on to 8 cards. You're going to have to discard one of your endgame condition. Now, in the video that Roshin showcased this deck going, he was actually extremely lucky and drew into 2 of his 8 endgame condition cards with a Shard of Greed proc on his 3rd last turn, setting himself up perfectly to finish it off. So realistically, it's just not possible. You're not going to be able to reliably farm Bakura at level 40 with this setup. So I made a couple modifications to this, because I really do want to start farming level 40 Bakura. I just don't have the time on my hands right now to commit to the level 30 grind. It's honestly better. It's more profitable in the long run. You're going to be able to do it, but I simply could not. I'm not able to burn through the dice fast enough. So we're going to have to drop Magician of Black Chaos and kind of revert. Now, credit where it's due again, sort of revert to a secondary option that Ruroshin did have up on the same video, where he wasn't using the ritual version of the endgame condition here, and that one was going to work perfect. But that one will work perfectly. You won't run into the hand clogging. What I am going to do, though, is swap out Gravity Axe. I'm not lucky enough to have a Prismatic Gravity Axe, so I looked through all of my equips, and it looks like we can do it with Big Bang Shot. It's glossy. I was looking for a glossy equip card. Your Piranha only needs something to buff it an extra 300. Because we are going to be running, and actually I am missing a card here. We need Rising Energy. For this format, we need Rising Energy. Take off all my filters here. And we'll have so the endgame condition on this deck is 1 less card. It's only going to be Piranha, Roku, Big Bang Shot, Storm, Divine Wrath, and Rising Energy. So it's only a 6-card endgame win condition. You can carry all 6 of those cards if they were the first 6 you draw out of the deck. So you're not going to run into that hand clogging problem. That was the one I was the most worried about. And with this, I can put in the 2nd Enchanted Javelin. That's why I had it there. So this deck right here is going to perform as well as we can get it to. It's not going to hit this is basically your best option if you are stuck. I'm running without Supremecy Berries as well, Supremacy, and because they're a little hard to get your hands on. I know they're a hard farm. I only have 1. I would suggest to you guys, if you do have them, put them in the place of either a Apple or the Enchanted Javelins. I'm going to run with none, just to give the most cheap, budget-friendly version I possibly can of this deck. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into a game and see how it goes. Alright, let's jump right into showcasing the playtest on this, and essentially, here we go. We're actually blessed this time around. They're going to give us a Gravedigger Ghoul in our opening hand. It's not something this deck requires at all. With many attempts, I've basically been playing through different deck types all morning, Destiny draw can easily save you if you don't draw Gravedigger Ghoul or Des Counterblow in your opening hand. We do have a couple defensive options here, which is great. Another good thing to take note of, because it's something you have to make sure, throughout using your Destiny draws, you're going to have to always check the last card in your deck. The last card in the deck cannot be Rising Energy or Divine Wraith. We need to get our hands on both those cards before the end of the game. Now, a commonly made mistake, one I've made many times, no matter what, you need to prioritize your first Destiny draw on getting Des Counterblow. If you don't, the monsters are just going to build up on you, and you're not going to be able to keep up with the damage. They'll kill you in 1 or 2 turns. One thing I'd always suggest, though, if you have the option to, is go ahead and trade. Enemy controller is going to prevent us from. Go ahead and try to trade into the opponent as soon as you can. That's going to, for once, you get opportunities to proc enemy controllers, Karibos. It's always nice to have those out of the way. But most importantly, it's going to just help you control the field. We get a Shard of Greed. Go ahead and get that out. That's perfect. Gives us some natural card draw. I'm actually going to go ahead and attempt this trade again because... and we burnt a Karibo. Normally, this is definitely not the way we're setting ourselves up to deal with Karibos and enemy controllers, but it's certainly a bonus. Now we know we've gotten rid of the enemy controller, one of the 2 Karibos, but I actually don't think this farm is going to work. We are probably going to run into losing to the final condition, which is something we're always going to run into. It's one of the worst case scenarios running these decks. I'm pretty sure this turn right here is the one he ends. Oh, what am I saying? No, we had opening hand Gravedigger Ghoul. Perfect. I think this playthrough might have been, as we either would have lost this turn right here, or we would have lost in, I think we would have lost at the end of the turn that Bakura's currently in. It's turn 9, he's got turn 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we would have lost at the end of this turn if we were not able to get another Destiny draw proc, because we weren't going to until this exact turn right now. That being said, if knowing that, we should have simply not activated the apples. The apples is what was preventing him from attacking us again. So we needed to hold back on apples. In your first 5 turns, you got to be careful using apples, because they can clog your field up and prevent the enemy from doing the damage you need to get done to yourself in order to prevent not getting that proc from your Destiny, not getting that second Destiny draw proc to help us get the Gravedigger and prevent losing to the final condition. Shard of Greed, that's great. Pretty much at any time, if you have a Shard of Greed ready, just proc it. You can get the Numinous Healer train going. So far, it's good. It wasn't the dream start we could have had, and unfortunately, we aren't going to get to Nutrient Z proc this Dark Necrofear. But it looks like this Bakura is going to start doing some of the, to be honest, undescribable things that this AI does. I find it so random. Sometimes it continuously attacks us. Sometimes it all of a sudden just goes totally into a passive mode, and so it's unfortunately, actually, I thought it was about to start a Necro. I thought it was about to start its Ballast Doll frame, but it didn't. And then it attacked with both monsters, which I also thought he wasn't going to do. And it's quite unfortunate we weren't able to get Nutrient Z out there. We took some major damage. I hope we're able to heal this all off. I think at this point, this Numinous Healer is worth 2k to us. We are going to take a face hit, though, if I use it. I think we can survive through pretty much anything he tries to hit me in the face with, though. And I know he's not going to get another Tribute Summon out, so I'm not going to set the Nutrient Z. Unless, like, if he is going to get a Tribute Summon out, we'll know ahead of time anyhow, so we'll have the opportunity to set it. I should have set this Shard of Greed last turn, because it would have been proccing for me then next turn and drawing into another healing option for me. And yeah, so this turn right here, at this point, I think it's safe for us to discard the Nutrient Z. I don't think he's going to get it out. We can proc the Shard of Greed. We got one more turn left, so it's It's important to always know, proc your Shard of Greed, you cannot do it to draw into your end game because we have traps that have to be set up. So here we are right now, 1 turn away from the end game, and normally we would not have almost every game. That's the first time I've ever procced enemy controller early. So you got to get your Storm through right now. And just to highlight the fact that no matter how we drew this, we were never going to get hand clogged. We have Rising Energy, Divine Wrath, Secret Pass to the Treasures, Big Bang Shot, Piranha Army. We could we even have space for 1 more card. We're going to go ahead and set Rising Energy and Divine Wrath. You have to always keep in mind, you're searching the end of that deck with Destiny Draw. You cannot let either of these 2 cards be the last card in your deck, or you simply cannot win. That leaves us with 6 cards in our hand. We don't need to discard anything, because it's very important that we save for our last turn. You need to draw into it, like in worst case scenario, you need to draw into 1 extra card for the very last turn, because you need to have something to discard to activate your traps. So now for our last turn, we are going to play Roku. Sorry, Roku would have been the 6th card that could have potentially been clogging our hand. So Piranha Army. You're going to draw into Piranha Army. Obviously, you're going to Secret Pass the Treasures it. Not something completely necessary this turn, because there is no monsters on his side of the field. You can't rely on that. That's why we have it in there. And actually, Roku doesn't need to be in this deck at all. I totally forgot to take that out when I was modifying it. This deck is quite simply going to hit... we can take Roku out of this deck. I forgot to remove that card when I was doing the modification on... showing you the modifications I made to the deck as it progressed. It is actually a dead card, so we can take that out, and I will put in probably a 3rd Enchanted Javelin. But with Big Bang Shot on the Piranha, we simply just need to Rising Energy it, and that is going to make it strong enough to hit over 2,500. Actually, you need it to hit 2,550 minimum, because that is going to be how much... You need to hit over 5,000. Hitting 5,000 on the nose will never be good enough. And we'll go ahead and directly attack now. And there was no Kribo. If he had a Kribo, we had the Divine Wrath in our hand. We could have discarded and gotten through that. So this end game condition is beautiful. It's actually only 5 cards. Because the 6th card actually... You do need it to only be 5 cards here, because the 6th card that we could draw into, it needs to be a random card. Because we potentially have to discard 2 cards on our last turn. So the last card you draw to finish your endgame turn off needs to be drawing into a 7th card, and it just needs to be totally random. So you have your 5 card win condition and your 2 random cards to discard. That being an endgame winning condition that we can carry through no matter what order we draw it in. And that's the important thing I needed to outline. You simply cannot successfully and reliably farm stuff using an 8 card endgame condition. And that was something I struggled with non-stop, because the only endgame conditions I could figure out to be able to hit for over 10,000 damage against this Bakura, against level 40 Bakura, was 8 cards. Everything, my Spirit Rue endgame, my original Piranha endgame, the only ways we could hit for over 10,000 damage was quite simply by using 8 cards. 8 cards is just going to clog our hand way too much, because we cannot afford to make the free space up by setting them, because we have to storm out the enemy controller. And because we've got to storm out the enemy controller, we got to storm and get Des Counterblow out of our way, and we also need to rely on Storm to clear off any trap cards that are sort of clogging, not allowing us to get past them. So, because of the reliance this deck uses on Storm, our maximum carrying capacity for our endgame win condition is 6 cards. There's just no way around that. This deck can get away with the 7th, because the 7th is quite simply a random card we're using to discard. But there you go. This deck managed to score 6,100 points. So we're getting over 6k points against level 40 Bakura. And it has been mathed out that if you're hitting over 6k, the advantage of farming level 30 for over 8k is extremely minimal. I think the tipping point comparing 8k from 40 to level 30 was 6,200 points on level 40 Bakura. So if time's an issue, like it is definitely for me, this is certainly the deck you're going to want to use. You're going to want to get in on that level 40 Bakura farm. Now, I'm going to jump right into the deck editor for 1 second just to polish up the deck list I have here, because Roku simply does not need to be in this deck. And I'll check that out for you. Alright, I've made the switch. We pulled out Roku from the deck list, and we've added a 3rd Enchanted Javelin. Now this right here is going to be the deck, I'm pretty much the deck I'm going to ride the rest of this event out on, farming Bakura at level 40. that is going to allow me to invest more time into farming extra dice instead of just using all of my time trying to farm level 30 repeatedly. Just 20 dice per run. I just don't have enough time. Honestly, though, if you do have the time, it is well worth it to just grind out level 30. Get over 8,000 points. You're getting more drops, more gold. Regardless, we've taken out Roku. We've got 3 Enchanted Javelins, 2 Apples, 3 Numinous Healers, 2 Nutrient Z, and that's basically the brunt of the healing in this deck. But I will point out, guys, if you have Supremacy Berries, which I do have one of, in order, I would prioritize replacing the apples, because as you can see, Enchanted Javelin, for the most, it does exactly what an apple does, but it can save you from dying ahead of time. You don't have to take the hit first, and the token drop by the apple is virtually useless for us. All it's going to do is mess up. It actually only has the opportunity to token itself to mess the farm up. As you can see, if I hadn't have drawn Gravedigger Ghoul in my opening hand, the token was going to prevent me from getting my second Destiny draw in the opening parts of that game to be able to draw the Ghoul to save us from losing to final. But I would prioritize an order, replace 2 of these golden apples with Supremacy Berries, and replace 1 of the Enchanted Javelins with Supremacy Berries. But yeah, there you have it, guys. This is my deck that I suggest for us poor unfortunate people who have not pulled the Union attack. This is our option for farming level 40 Bakura. I gotta say, I've basically playtested this today 15 different setups. This is the one I'm sticking with. Unfortunately, I had to give up my dream for hitting over 10,000 damage against level 40 Bakura. That simply requires Union attack. But yeah, no, I hope you enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot more videos to come. We're going to keep the farming. I'm going to be working on my Legendary Duelist farming series. And yeah, smash that subscribe button, guys. Come check us out on the stream. And I want to give one more big shout out to Ruroshin. Honestly, this deck idea here would not have come together if it wasn't for you coming up with the idea first. So thanks again. But yeah, guys, don't forget, stay classy.